Hello, how you guys doing? Today we're going to speak about how the Bible specifies how the end of the universe will happen. It doesn't happen just like spontaneously. It happens like in a domino effect. Now, to start with, I want to speak about the destroyer, which is in Jeremiah 4:7, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. He is gone from his way to make thy land desolate. So the destroyer is on his way, so it's coming towards us, and he's and from his way to make thy land desolate. So the land will be desolated when the destroyer comes, which is apparently an asteroid. Now in Psalm 17:4, it does specify the destroyer carries a path, so it's coming on its way on a path. Interestingly, we have two contenders for this asteroid, not taking out Nibiru or Woodworth, which we don't know that Nibiru is actually in astronomy a real planet because it doesn't like it's we haven't seen it yet, but we do know this. There's a comet, asteroid. It's called Routine 3753. It's 5 kilometers big and it shares the same orbit as the Earth. Technically, this is the second satellite that our Earth shares, that the moon shares with the Earth. So we have two satellites, the moon, and we have Routine 3753. Now this particular one goes in the same orbit as the Earth every, I would say, 200 years. So it's very unlikely that happens. It's really far away. It's 0.1 astronomical units, which is 10 million kilometers. And the distance when it comes close to the Earth is 40 times the distance between the Earth and the moon, which is far away. So unlikely. Routine 3753, probably not going to happen. Now, unfortunately, we have another contender. The other contender is called Asteroid 2002 NT7. Asteroid 2002 NT7 was discovered in 2002, and it's heading to our planet. It will land in February of 2019, which there's a book that very specifies it. Well, I don't want to talk about this book because it's not relevant, but the asteroid is 1 mile long, and it's definitely heading our way. So it will be landing on the Earth 2019, 1st of February. So if the destroyer is on its way, it's coming. So it's still in the process of coming here, and this one is coming here, and it's not Nibiru, it's Asteroid 2002 NT7. Now, what would happen if the asteroid hits? The asteroid hits the Earth. Now, when the asteroid hits the Earth, it would hit tectonic plates and evaporate a lot of the water that's in it. This is biblical. Evaporates the water. Okay, the tectonic plate hits. The asteroid hits the tectonic plates. It creates an earthquake, obviously, because it shakes the land. It's impact. And then all the volcanic magma and supervolcanoes, such as the one that's in Utah or Yellowstone, are very likely to erupt if this hits the Earth's crust, because it will create instability, and that would be very troubling. Now, what happens? The ash cloud happens. So it's in accordance with the Bible. Earthquake. There's an ash cloud. There's a cloud. The cloud covers the sun's light and the moon's. Okay, the moonlight at first would look like it was red. So when the Bible says in Joel 2:31 that the moon will turn red as blood, it's specifying when you see the ash cloud, the moon's brightness would hit the ash cloud, and the ionic particles would make the albedo of the moon, which is 0.12 normally, the moonlight, look like it's red, but it's really the effect happening. Now, for people who are in other part of the world, which are looking at stars, they would see the stars disappear because the ash cloud would not permit us view what's going on. So at daytime, we couldn't see the sun if you're in that part of the world. And at nighttime, the moon will turn red first, and then you would see this cloud technically taking everything, we couldn't look at the stars or anything. So daylight, nighttime, things happen. So it says, I will cover the heaven and make the stars thereof dark, and I will cover the sun with a cloud. So as we see, there's a separation. People who are day, people who are night, you will see different things. And the moon shall not give her light. Interestingly, the moon, even though it receives the sunlight from the sun, and obviously the moon does not produce its own light, it does have a different frequency length from wavelength from the moon's brightness. The sun's albedo is obviously top, but the moon's albedo is 0.12. So if you compare the sun's albedo with the moon's albedo, it's much different. But the reflection still of the moon is different than the light that's spread through the sun. So the moon does have a mixture of brightness with matter, and that creates the moon's own light, which is reflected by the sun. Without the sun, it wouldn't have a light, but it's still the moon's light. So it's interesting that it's her light, because the albedo is different, and when it hits the surface of the moon, there's more colors that appear. That's what we see. The moon is white because it absorbs the particles through electromagnetic waves. But anyway, we continue with this, and what do we see? The scriptures say that in Isaiah that God stretches like a curtain the universe and stretches it out like a tent to dwell on. If you look at a video of it, you'll see that the universe looks kind of a tent-like. It's very interesting. And the universe is still expanding, which is biblical, stretches like a curtain. Now, in Revelation 6:14, it says this, and heaven departed like a scroll being rolled up. So the heavens roll up. I call this the rubber band effect. You get a rubber band. You start pulling it as much as you can. And two things are going to happen. It's factual. Either it's going to break till the rubber band can't resist its own power, or you let it loose and the rubber band will come faster than you originally pulled it. And this is what I call the rubber band effect. And this will be in accordance to Revelation 6:14, as the universe will be rolled up together like a squirrel. And if it gets rolled up together, that means there's not an expansion, because when you break a rubber band, it expands, but it rolls up to it, which means that the implosion of how the universe is expanding will come faster than its original explosion, and that makes a very interesting factor. Now, continuing with this, the universal mass, which is 1.5948 times 10 at the power of the 55 kilograms, makes up 4% of the universal mass. In essence, if you think about that, we only have 4% of matter that we know, and the other 96% is supposed to be dark energy and dark matter. Now, God says He dwells among darkness. Very interestingly, darkness is undetectable. So the scriptures are telling us that God dwells among dark matter, and yet we don't know what dark matter or dark energy is, but God dwells on it. So it's undetectable, but we know it's there because there's only 4% of the universe. So very interesting. We see this principle, how the scriptures say that God dwells among dark energy and dark matter, and the universe will not be possible without dark energy and dark matter. Now, what happens is that bodies carry electrical charges, and this affects gravity. If the universe actually pulls back together, that means that all the heavens will be shaken. If the heavens are shaken, that means that all the electrical charges from the body masses will start shaking, and there will be a big rumbling. And this has to do with the wave. If the universe expands together, that means all the objects will span together with them, and there will be a shaking effect. You'll see things shooting up, down, and who knows? They might lose the matter. They might lose the matter they have, and we don't know how this process will finish up like. But it's clear that it would have an effect on stars and other things because it's the end of the universe. So anyway, this is my apportation for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please let me know. And thank you for watching this video. Thank you.